lovers, the moon is a thing of beauty. But to this man it is a deadly curse. When the moon is full, this miserable wretch turns into a hairy, snarling half-man, half-beast. Prowls the night, his fangs thirsty for human blood. He is a werewolf.
Hello, and welcome to the Werewolf by Night podcast, the show where we talk about Marvel's #1 lycanthrope, Jack Russell, a.k.a. the Werewolf, a.k.a. the Beast, a.k.a. the Shaggy One. I'm your co-host, Matt Howell.
I'm your other co-host, Jacob Balcom.
Thanks for joining us this week, listeners. We're going to jump right in here with our episode for issue number 23, which is part 2 of the Atlas saga epic, I think. It was great talking with Rebecca about this last week. I hope that she follows through and reads the second part of the story, Jacob.
Yeah, I sent her the file. I'm curious to get her opinion on how it ends.
Yeah, so am I. So we've got another Ron Wilson cover here, which I usually like Ron Wilson. I wasn't super blown away by this one. It seemed just kind of uninspired. It's technically fine, but it just didn't really wow me. So it's got that thing at the top third of the thing where they panelize the logo area. And so that's just a big field of red with the logo on top of it. And the bottom is the werewolf leaping down from, not Grauman's, what's it called? Man's? Yeah,
even though I think they call it Grauman's in here.
Okay, I thought it said something like Grauman's. It was Grauman's and now it's Man's, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the Chinese theater that's famous in Hollywood.
Yeah. With
all the celebrity footprints and handprints and stuff like that. And so he's leaping down from somewhere on there, and there's the kind of Chinese lions statues out front, and people are running with bell bottoms. And I guess there's a guy. It's a little dodgy cover. So this is Ron Wilson, and it said they didn't know if it was Mike Esposito or Frank Giacoia doing the inks. We know Romita had a hand, obviously.
Yeah, I'm going with Mike Esposito.
Okay, I trust you. Yeah, and there's a character that I can only assume is supposed to be Buck because he's holding a gun, and we know that Buck has a gun with silver bullets in it now.
Yeah.
And that kind of made me laugh because, you know, there's another female character that is Lissa-like, but not Lissa because she's a blonde. So it's like, at this point, are they just trolling us? Like, we know you think this should be Lissa, and we're proving that you're not right. I don't know. Why is it a blonde constantly that's in a Lissa role, but not Lissa?
I know at this point they have to be trolling us or just not giving a shit. So you're saying that the guy in the blue suit who looks like Buck is holding a gun?
Yeah. Is he not in yours?
Like he is not in mine.
What? What's he doing with his right hand?
There's nothing in his right hand. It's open. Both of his hands are open and have nothing in them. Okay, hold on. I gotta look at yours.
Yeah, let me get the light going up here.
Yeah, I need the. Oh yeah, he absolutely does not have that in here. They have taken that out, E.T. Steven Spielberg style. They might as well have replaced it with a flashlight.
What? Thoughts?
I'm really confused.
It's not a cigarette.
No, it's not a cigarette, and there are guns in comics on MU. So yeah, I have no idea. That is truly strange.
That is okay. Well, I think that's the first time we've seen an alteration on a cover, or even in anything, right?
In anything. Yeah. I mean, that's all I can think about is Spielberg fucking with E.T.
What, he took the agents' guns away and put flashlights in their hands?
Yes, and one of the cops when they're going like on their bike ride, I think.
From production before.
Yeah, like he George Lucas them.
But before it was released to the public, like he didn't change a film that had been released and revered. He did it before anyone saw it.
Did.
Oh, he did.
Yeah. No, this
is like when it finally came out on VHS or whatever, like 10 years later.
This was like not that long ago. This is some kind of like special edition.
Oh my god.
Like a DVD. If I'm correct, I mean, I don't think I'm making this up. I think it's pretty much correct. So
I'm sure he was feeling guilty about Columbine that day, so he decided. I can't stand these fucking artists who walk back to a work and change shit. It fucking pisses me off. Like there's a point when you release it to the public, it's not yours anymore. It's forever yours because you made it. But once you shared it with the world and it became part of the shared experience of our culture or mass culture, you can't change it anymore.
No, it was like we were talking last week with Rebecca about like someone re-recording their best record and like, no, I can make it better. You know, I can do it better. Now that it's 50. Oh God, it's so bad. It's so bad. You got to listen to it.
Yeah, I'm you know me, I'm a huge Smiths fan. I love Morrissey's early solo stuff. He went back to his first album and just took a song called Ordinary Boys off the second side as a completely forgettable track and plugged in some song no one's ever heard before. And he's like, I just wish I had done this. I should have made this call back in 1987. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, there's a lot
30 years ago. Well, I know there's a lot wrong with it, but I mean,
it's a lot wrong
30
with
years
Morrissey.
ago. You can't come back like in 2012 and go, Ordinary Boys wasn't very good, was it?
No, it's fucking stupid. It's always stupid.
And he changed the cover.
Oh my
Seriously.
God. That's great. So the only thing I have to say about this cover is there. I don't know if we've seen a growl on many covers.
I don't think we've actually seen a visualized growl. No,
I think this is the first, and I didn't hate it. It just stood out to me as something kind of weird. But
can we talk? I'm assuming this one guy, these pencils on these people, or the inking at least, is terrible. The guy in the green shirt and brown trousers is running into the theater away. Like, these look like sub Richie Rich, like, background character. Like, they're so crude.
Yeah, they're very crude.
And the guy I think it's a ticket window, he looks like a mask. Like, he looks like, in Monkey Business when Harpo goes in the Punch and Judy show and like makes his face all hideous. So he looks like he looks like Harpo in that scene.
It does. Yeah, this cover is interesting. I think the Beast looks really great. Obviously, Ramita did some stuff on the face, but no, I mean it's I don't mind this cover. It definitely does have some weird stuff.
I do like the perspective, like the Beast's right arm is reaching out towards us and stuff, and that's pretty cool. And I like the way he rendered Buck. I can't believe they took a gun out in the digitization of this. It's crazy, but he's got a cool that Sal Buscema, that long Sal Buscema face that I always like. I don't know why. I hated Sal Buscema when I was a kid. I love him now. Yeah,
I do too. I actually didn't like him as a kid either. But yeah, his no one does long faces like he does. It's almost like a Graham Engels and Sal are the big long face guys.
Yeah, totally.
But so I did have something to say on this next page, on the opening page.
Can I didn't read the titles.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go for it.
So it says Man into Wolf Beneath the Full Moon, which, gotta be honest, this feels like kind of a uninspired, like they're running out of ideas, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Itchy and Scratchy, okay, I must stay off the Simpsons stuff. And then at the bottom it says, who will fire the silver bullet for a werewolf? So does it still say that on the one where they took the gun out?
Yeah, it does still say that. No, everything is totally the same. We're gonna do a comparison. We're gonna post that on Instagram because it's it's very kooky.
Okay, so yeah, moving on. Sorry.
Okay, so yeah, so our credits are basically the same. It's Doug Munch writer, Don Perlin artist, Vinnie Coletta inker, Artie Simek is the letterer, which is always the best, and Linda Lessman colorist, Roy Thomas editor. And I like Linda Lessman. I think she's probably my second favorite colorist on the title after Petra Goldberg.
I don't know, man. I'm loving that Mantlo from last week.
That Mantlo was really cool, right? I wish we got another one of those. It was so like cool and psychedelic, like Rebecca was saying. But so yeah, the title is The Murderer is a Maniac, which again kind of just made me laugh. But so yeah, we basically open in. I mean, this is in media res, because the Beast is leaping off of a roof like down to meet our villain Atlas, and Atlas has his signature jawbone raised up, ready to defend himself, and there's lots of bystanders. Similar. The bystanders are a little similar to the cover, and it's in front of the theater. And it's a decent opening page, but I feel like Ramita may have done alterations on this page as well. Look at the woman's face in the bottom left. How is that?
Very J.R. Senior.
Oh, absolutely. That's an absolute Ramita face. So I was like, oh, come on. All those guys on GCD that track Ramita alterations. I mean, where's the little footnote on that?
Definitely.
Get on it, Nick Caputo. So, yeah. So the narration is filled with like the normal level of kind of beat poetry insanity that we've come to expect from Doug Munch. I especially like the middle text box. It reads, but sometimes the werewolf's like a bizarre combination of child and telepathist. Unable to see beyond the surface of things, and yet often able to perceive the most subtle of emotions.
Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't. Yeah. Sometimes you're a child. Sometimes you're a telepathist.
Oh,
yeah.
Pretty funny.
That's interesting. Prior to that, he said that that's the way it always goes with the moon wolf who repossesses me for 3 nights out of the month. Repossesses was an interesting word choice. I like that.
Yeah, I actually liked it too. When I first read that, I was like, oh, that's not right. And I was like, no, that's totally right. And pretty interesting. I don't think we've heard, the werewolf transformation described like that. So good on you, Doug.
Mm-hmm. Well, I thought the last box was a little weird here. It says, he's talking about Atlas, but even if the character's weird threads and even weirder rap meant nothing to me as the werewolf, I could sense that the dude was a loony. Like they say these days, it's more than clothes and speech patterns that make the man.
No one says that these days.
And we establish here that this is outside the Chinese theater, so there are celebrity names written in the cement. So this is a running gag that comes up with some jokes in here that are appreciated.
There's some deep cuts.
I didn't roll on the floor laughing or anything, but there's some kind of funny stuff. If you recall, we had kind of a cliffhanger ending. So that was in media res that started there, and then we jump back to what happened when Jack got picked up by Northrop for the murder of Simon Kolb, the producer. So now he's in the police department, and Northrop's grilling him. He's saying, all right, punk, you got a few things to clear up. For instance, what were you doing lying outside of the house occupied by a still warm corpse? And who beat you up like that? The guy you turned into that corpse? Now either you open those split lips and clear up those 2 for instances, or I'm charging you with the murder of Simon Kolb. Jack says, better charge away then. But how about my one phone call? And Northrop does not like this hippie bullshit, college shit. He's like, oh, you punks are the same. Watch a little TV and you think you know the law. There's the phone. Your bail's $5,000. And so who does Jack call? His rich stepfather / uncle? Nope. His sister? Hey, Buck, how's your bank balance?
That's his opening line to his best friend.
And of course, Buck was just trying to earn $1 by writing a story, so he had to be interrupted by Jack when he's deep in thought. He's like, what? I'll see what I can do, Jack. So he bails him out, and he's asking Jack, like, what the heck's going on, And he's like, it's all pretty vague, Buck. You sound like Northrop. You're just asking me all these questions with the second degree. So they're driving home when he finally starts telling him, all right, so here's what's happened. At first, I thought I might have killed Simon Kolb, but, then it started coming back to me. I realized that wasn't me. I just showed up there. I kind of remembered the wolf showing up there and getting my ass whooped.
I do like Jack wearing some sweet shades there on the bottom panel.
With his shirt entirely unbuttoned.
There's a lot of unbuttoned shirts in this issue, as we'll see on the next page. And
he's more blonde than strawberry blonde or redheaded in this my coloring here on this page.
See. Yeah, he's definitely more blonde on that whole page. Yeah, it changes back to his normal strawberry blonde on the next one. So on the next page, Buck tries to comfort Jack by saying, if the werewolf had a fight with a guy who came out of Kolb's place, the guy who really killed Kolb, you were inadvertently playing the part of hero. That's kind of a confusing way to say it, but yeah. And then so Jack's like, but what good is that? And he's like, hey, where the devil did you get those gashes across your chest? Because Buck's shirt is unbuttoned even more than Jack's was. I mean, Jack's not wearing a shirt now, but yeah. So then kind of, Buck gets real kind of quiet, and then he's like, forget it, Jack, it's nothing. He's like, oh my God, the claw marks. So yeah, he feels bad. Buck's trying to, comfort him in typical Buck fashion. And so he tries to take his mind off it. He's like, oh, anyways, beside, I've been thinking about your description of the guy you tangled with last night. I think I know who he is. And I kind of love how Buck is a real central part to the plot in this, which he's not a lot of times. A lot of times he's just like the cool best friend who Jack kind of shits on a lot. But no, Buck is definitely a main character in this, and he kind of goes back and starts to describe this. So he's we're flashing back a bit, and he's like, Steve Rand, Hollywood's #1 muscle man actor, the guy who starred in all those sand and sandal spectacles. Oh my God!
Couldn't even get that right. Come on.
Yeah, I know they couldn't even get that right. And so we're looking back on Steve Rand. We see him, and he's very handsome. He's Johnny Weissmuller. Kind of.
Yeah.
That's who I was thinking of.
Like Tarzan guy.
Yeah. And so there's some the director is like, Steve, this is Jimmy. He'll double for you in this next stunt. So hey, we meet the real Jimmy.
Yeah. I noticed maybe they fixed this. Buck, was slashed pretty good by the wolf last night, and so he's bandaged up, but they're never colored. Like, they're all flesh colored. Are they white in yours?
Let's see. No, they're flesh colored.
Okay, through the whole issue, that's that way. And I don't know, maybe they're like ace bandages. Maybe they are supposed to be European American colored bandages. I don't know. Yeah, so Buck is a big wheel, like you're saying. He's a big part of this, which is cool. I like that because I think that Munch kind of realized he's a good information source, and you should be tapping into that more and making more stories happen and kind of turn around him, because Jack, he doesn't even literally have any other friends. He has no life. We don't see him do anything that's not werewolf related or werewolf adjacent. So not a lot of stuff is going to be generated unless it's a committee type of thing, like coming at him. So Buck is a really good opportunity to connect him into the entire world around him. So that was a good call on Munch's part, I think. So on the next page, this flashback continues, and we get this sword and sandal set. There's this huge elaborate set with these giant steps going down and these statues of dragon heads over this giant pool, which is actually a inferno of flame. And the stunt that's supposed to happen is the hero swings across on some type of rope over the fire and saves Bathsheba, the princess. Rand is looking at it. He's like, I can make that swing myself. So hit the showers, Jimmy. Jimmy Stuntman, you're not needed today. So, it's really a hard stunt. And so Jimmy's like, hey, no one's doubting your abilities, Mr. Rand, but this is a tricky one. If you don't sustain the momentum, he's like, beat it. So he sends Jimmy away, grabs a rope, swings across, doesn't reckon on a giant spike sticking out of the dragon statue. His foot gets hung up. He kind of dangles there for a second and then falls into the fire. And this is, if you can, it's like American Ninja, but really, really dangerous. Yeah, I guess, like or Wipeout, one of those shows. So yeah, we're seeing how he got the way he is now.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. So he didn't bring up Bathsheba last time, right?
No.
Yeah, I thought that was, I don't know, it's another interesting thing. They're just kind of strip mining random Bible characters, which, I know that they're trying to combine a lot of stuff. So yeah,
I've had that Pixies song "Dead" in my head all day because Bathsheba.
It's a great song. So yeah, on the next page, Rand misses his jump and falls headfirst into the fires. And I like the Buck says, "I can still hear his ungodly shrieks of agony." And then, Buck says, and I remember cursing myself as the actress who played Bathsheba clutched at me in horror, cursing myself for writing the screenplay which dictated the stunt and that tragedy. So, so Buck, he's holding himself responsible, even though it was.
Have we ever been given the impression by anything in this run that he did anything but wrote stories for papers and magazines?
Nope. Yeah, this is the first we've heard of him actually, writing screenplays. And so, then Buck says he got the rest of the story he got from studio gossip. And then we switch to a hospital bed and see Rand with his entire face like bandaged up, kind of like the woman in that Twilight Zone episode, Eye of the Beholder. Mm-hmm. And he starts being, I don't know, I guess I called it like 70s aggressive to the nurse.
Yeah, they called it fresh.
they did call it fresh. I call it like 70s aggressive gross.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, babe, ain't it about time I got out from under these wraps? She's like, but Mr. Rand, the doctor said. And he's like, the doctor, he ain't the one suffocating under these bandages. She's like, please, Mr. Rand, you mustn't. He's like, relax, babe. A face like mine deserves to be. And he's unwrapping his bandages. And he's like, oh, no. And then it's these really big letters of no, no, no. And so, he sees his gross ass face.
This is a trope, this thing. I mean, I didn't realize it. I think it's most commonly referencing Batman, the Tim Burton film, when people do this, the unmasking and the revealing of the hideous disfigurement. But this obviously goes back further, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a thing. Like I think isn't there something like this in the Ed Wood movie, like not Jailbait? What's the one with the gangster who's got like plastic surgery and he's holding everybody hostage while he heals so he can escape from the authorities or something? Isn't one of those like that?
Yeah, it is one of those like that. I almost felt like
I think that one has Steve Reeves in it. That's one of his few non-Muscle Man roles was in that Ed Wood movie.
Oh, that's cool.
He played the cop, I think. Weird.
Interesting. Yeah, I almost felt like that Twilight Zone episode, Eye of the Beholder, because, of course, when she takes her bandages off, she's not disfigured. She's actually beautiful, and all the doctors are disfigured. And I think that was I think it was already a trope by that time, and that's Rod Serling kind of playing on that trope.
Yeah, I love it. We have to finish off the trope. Obviously, he has to punch the mirror because this is that. So he says, "No, my face! I'll get them! I'll get them all for destroying my face!" And he charges out of the room, knocks the nurse over. It takes 4 orderlies / cops / whatever to drag him down, put him in a straitjacket. And again, I love that like you said, Jack said he had to piece this together from studio gossip, but I love that Buck, but I love that Buck's such a good writer that he can actually paint this picture by filling in all the gaps and conjecture and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, he's a pro.
Yeah. And then the doctor says, "Nurse, I warned you to control him. He's got to be conditioned to the fact that there isn't a plastic surgeon in the world who can help him now." And so he says, the last I'd heard, he'd been released from the mental hospital 4 years ago. And so Jack's like, "So wait, you think he's the murderer? And it took him this long to go berserk?" And then he's like, "Well, Jack, remember last night?" Well, was that last night? Yeah. He's like, "I was telling you about those 3 murders of Hollywood players that happened, and you just forgot about it because you're a selfish asshole." But all of them had a hand in making those films, so it stands to reason that it was him. Vinny's inking is all over the place in this issue.
Wow.
There are panels that look great. There are panels that look absolute rubbish.
I think you're talking about that bottom panel for the rubbish.
It's not great.
No, there's a lot. I actually think his inking is more bad than good on this issue.
It is.
Which is,
stay positive.
Yeah, I know.
Moving on.
All right. So, on the next page, we see the actress who played Bathsheba lounging by a pool. And I like that first panel where you see this kind of ominous shadow cast over her. It's really cool. It's really effective. And so she doesn't really see, but she's like, "Is that you, Frankie? Time for you to drive me to the studio already?" And she looks up and sees Atlas above her. And she's like, "Oh my God, no." And Atlas just fucking brains her with his jawbone, sending her flying into the pool. And he's, monologuing after he does this. He's like, "You lied to me, Bathsheba. Said you wanted to be my queen when instead you really wanted to ruin my face. But Atlas has repaid your deceit with death." And that last panel is looking up from the bottom of the pool where we see that, the woman is totally dead. It's a brutal page.
It's a totally brutal. One of my few words for this page is brutal. And I love that last panel where, like you're saying, it's like Sunset Boulevard or whatever. You're looking up at this body floating above you, staring down, and then you're seeing through the water just a distorted silhouette of the killer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that that's from Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a direct reference.
And this is not jumping back to one of those murders that Buck had mentioned before. This is happening now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Atlas has just moved on. He killed Simon Kolb. Today it's Bathsheba. Now he's moving on. Now
he's got a list.
He's got a list.
Yeah.
It's like my name is Ed, but my name is Atlas.
I'd watch that show.
We cut to Buck's place, and there's a little bit of weird stylized talking here. The sun was just about biting the horizon's dust when Buck tried to tell me he was allergic to bullets, specifically silver bullets. The sun was just about biting the horizon's dust.
So, Munch is taking the big swings for all of these dialogue boxes or narration boxes. And and I think about half of them land pretty well.
I mean, that expression was popular around then, but it's actually old.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the Iliad. They describe when someone's cut down and they bite the dust, that's literally they're just slack jawed and they fall forward. So it's been around since, 2,500 years ago. But yeah, it just doesn't really work here.
No, it does not work.
So Buck's saying, "Hey, man, I couldn't shoot you, And he's like, "Look, I'm not asking you to shoot me. I'm asking you to shoot the werewolf." And they're about to get into it, but the door gets kicked in by who? Atlas. And I was just laughing so hard because I was picturing like, okay, so this dude is walking around in a tunic, like a toga tunic with big sandals on, like laced up sandals, a executioner's hood, a garland of laurels, and a jawbone from an ass. And he's walking around LA just like Beverly Hills over here, where Venice Beach. Like he's just walking. Nobody walks in LA. I've only been to LA a few times. Nobody walks there. So I'm trying to picture how funny that would be to people like driving by, Santa Monica Boulevard and just seeing this dude trudging with a ski mask on and like.
That's true, but it also is 1974 LA. So there's gonna be a lot of heady weirdness going on. And I was wondering when he was kicking down that door, I'm like, does Atlas wear underwear?
Oh God.
So I don't think he would.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, moving on. So they're surprised and like, what? And he says, I have come to slay the king. And Jack injects himself between the two of them. He's like, wait a minute, pal. There's no reason to kill anybody. And then Atlas starts pulling his hood off. He loves doing this move. He's like, no reason? What does a mere stuntman know about reasons? Only an actor understands motivation. Only an actor. And at this point, he's fully revealing his grotesqueness. And we failed to mention this last time. I was kicking myself after we talked to Rebecca, trying to describe how ugly this dude is. He looks like the Toxic Avenger. That's a perfect description, right? So he's saying only an actor knows that someone who looks like a monster should act like a monster. And so Jack's just tripping in the narration, like talking about, God, Buck described his face, and he still didn't really get how bad it was.
No, and I like how it says that Buck had described a face flayed by fire.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I kind of like that. That's kind of badass. I did too. We continue on the next page. Like Jack is starting, you see him in the background, he's starting to get woozy like he does before a transformation. So, Buck steps up to Atlas and pulls out that hand cannon. And, Steve Rand's mind is fracturing even more because I noticed on this page, he's switching between the Atlas character and his true self every panel. Like every other panel, it's a different thing. It actually kind of made me feel bad for him. Like I didn't even think it was funny. I was just like, oh, this is actually kind of sad.
Yeah. No, he's like, it's like you feel bad like you do for the guy in Memento.
I know, exactly. And yeah, so we kind of see, he's monologuing for a bit. It's like, you never should have written that fire scene into the screenplay, Cowan, because Steve Rand don't appreciate getting burned. And yeah, I like Buck kind of trying to reason with him. He's like, get a grip on yourself, Rand. Don't force me to fire. And then he looks back. He's like, Jack, are you? And then, Atlas knocks the gun out of Buck's hand and is about to smash his face with the jawbone. And he's like, but he spun around at the sound of my snarl. And then we see the beast just, says he was no longer woozy, no longer a cowering palace guard, and no longer Jack Russell. And the beast just, leaps out at Atlas. And I like that panel. I think that panel is pretty cool.
The bottom one?
Yeah, the bottom panel's great.
I liked it too. I wasn't wild about the inking, but I liked the layout and the action in it. I kind of thought it was weird, like he's saying woozy. Like in that first panel, he's starting to transform, and mine, he's starting to turn brown, like when there's fur sprouting. And he just kind of is like touching his head and leaning on a table. And on the next panel, he's hairy and like leaning over the table and like clutching his head more dramatically. And then on the third panel, he's fallen to the floor and he's kind of hunched over, like he's about to curl up in a ball. And he's shaking a little bit, but like this is like it looks like he got the vapors. When like the last couple times he's changed, it's been like he's turning inside out. So it just kind of seemed like it was incongruous with how he normally does that. I don't know. But yeah, I was loving Atlas as well on here. I wonder if Doug Munch saw Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, because this reminds me a lot of Ronnie Z-Man Barzell, aka Superwoman.
Yeah, I really do.
Who has they take a bunch of psychedelics and the character has a psychotic break and ends up hunting everybody down on at her party, his party.
It's funny. I know it gets a little dicey there, but I end up watching that movie like every year.
I watch it a few times a year.
Yeah, I watch it way more than I thought I would want to, but it's just so great. It's so great.
Endlessly entertaining.
Yeah.
Like the lotus, it blooms for you again and again. Okay, moving on. So we have second night, and the beast has jumped up and mounted Atlas. And I was wondering, there's this odd green square surrounded by shadow on the wall behind them. Is that blood we're seeing in that field of green, or is that just like texture?
It looks like texture in the digital version.
Okay. I was hoping it was blood, because I was going to say that's pretty cool that he's like raking on him and there's blood splattering around. But at any rate, this is for me, a frustrating issue as far as werewolfery goes and fighting. Because I feel like I understand that we try to set this guy up as being really strong, but I think he was overpowered.
Yes.
My opinion. So the beast seems to kind of have an advantage here. He jumps onto him and he's raking on his face again, which he did last issue. And Atlas just throws him through Buck's window. And he's like, "Off of me, foul beast of hell. Atlas will not brook thy assault." And then he jumps outside. And before Jack can even kind of pull himself up as the werewolf and kind of shake his head off, he's coming out and he's thwacking the ground. He almost brains him again with that damn bone. And the beast just flees off, just running helter-skelter down the street. And Atlas runs after him. "What's the matter, Jimmy? Is a weakling actor like me too much for a big, strong stunt man like you?" It's almost like he saw a werewolf and didn't see it was a werewolf.
Drink time.
Oh, I missed something. Sorry.
Okay.
When Atlas does jump out the window and try to brain the beast in the front yard, it says, "And maybe it was the jawbone he was flailing like a nightstick at a hippie peace march, but whatever it was, it carried fear with it."
See, I thought you were going to talk about the spelling of crash.
Trash? I didn't even see that.
Crash with a C, crash spelled with a CH.
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it. Rash.
Trash. You're right.
Actually, if you chunk that out, it actually does sound like breaking glass. Trash.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you're right. Okay. I just thought it was kind of funny, but yeah, maybe it's really effective. Back at the house, Buck's hand has been totally crushed by Atlas, but he still is like, "I've got to go save Jack," because he's awesome. So he speeds off to find them, and Atlas and the Beast then arrive at Man's Theater, like we saw on the very first page. And they're just seen by a ton of shocked tourists. Like a ton of people are seeing the werewolf right now, and this crazy, Atlas guy who's super deformed. But I love that one of them says, "Must be some heavy movie to deserve a publicity stunt like this." Yeah. See, these people, they're used to it. They're jaded. They've lived in Hollywood for a while. Nothing's going to shock them. A disfigured giant man in a tunic chasing a werewolf, and they're like, "Oh, it's probably just for some movie."
I kind of don't blame them, though.
No, I don't honestly blame them either.
And so this is the place where we had all the celebrities put their names and handprints in the cement. So we can see in this panel Lon Chaney and Rin Tin Tin. So there's already some jokes coming up here.
Yeah, it's funny. It's decent.
It's all right.
Yeah. And at the bottom there, we see James Cagney, Van Johnson, and Clark Gable, which I don't think has any. I just think those are just names they put in. It's not really a werewolf joke per se. But Atlas corners the Beast, saying, "I've got you trapped now, Jimmy." And he swings his jawbone. The Beast kind of ducks out of the way. So Atlas destroys one of those really cool statues that I've always loved those statues.
Me too. So the Beast counterattacks. He springs forward, sinks his claws into Atlas's head, and immediately Atlas gets the advantage and slams him down on the ground and brings down that jawbone and almost brains him again. And the Beast is crouched or whatever. He's like on his belly right over Lon Chaney Jr.'s signature or, name in the cement. So there's a big joke for you. And Buck comes busting in. "Out of the way, you idiots. Can't you see what's happening in there?" And this guy's like, "Hey, easy, man. It's only studio hype for some movie." At this point, since the jawbone of the ass came down right next to his head, the Beast is freaked out. He's scrabbled up on top of the pagoda-like, or not pagoda, it's China, but whatever the top of the Chinese theater is. And the Atlas has shaken the jawbones going, "That monkey suit's backfiring on you, Jimmy. Ain't scaring me, just making you sweat." And so he's yelling, "Retreat as far as you will, hell beast. Atlas will pursue you to the very pits if need be." And Buck's approaching them. He's like, "Jack, listen to me. Don't attack him." Jack Russell, who lives at 1234 Malibu Drive. What the fuck?
I thought that too, because Liz has done that before too. Like, "Jack, you're my brother. What are you doing?" It's just, he's just giving his identity out. So I'd like to think that last panel, that the pencils were just really amazing on that. I'd like to imagine that there was a ton of detail down on the bottom, and that, yeah, Coletta just threw up on it and for like 5 seconds and just said, done.
Like, I know they had primitive copy machines then. I almost like he just put the pencils through and just cranked up the contrast. And like, there, I inked it. Doesn't it?
It does. It's really bad.
Looks like that.
Ugh, God. All right, so yeah, Atlas kind of, sees Buck and whips around and says, who dares interfere with the divine purpose of Atlas? Buck's trying to reason with him, just like, Rand, you don't know what you're doing. Just let me talk to you. And Atlas just like swings the jawbone around and is like, talk, Cowan? You did all your talking in that script you wrote, the one that burned my face. Now you're going to pay for having such a big mouth. And so, yeah, I like that, Buck actually lands a punch on Atlas's jaw, which I was like, okay, it's pretty good. I like the sound effect is scud.
Better than the werewolf.
Yeah, better than the werewolf. But then, it doesn't affect Atlas at all. And he's like, ha, the king deigns to strike his rebel subject, but his puny show of force does not impress Atlas. And again, like this is what it kind of makes me sad, because every other panel, his identity shifts to where I just feel bad for the guy now.
Yeah, he's a pathetic character.
Yeah, so the Beast sees all this, and I like that the narration is like, maybe it was a part of me which forced the werewolf down, a subliminal vestige of Jack Russell, which seized the werewolf and sent him lunging to the aid of his best friend. So the Beast jumps onto Atlas's back, and Atlas is like, what?
I was really pleased to see in that one, the second panel there, that the two names were Harpo Marx and Stan Laurel.
Yeah,
I thought my favorite old comedians.
I thought you would like that one. My favorite's coming up.
So can we talk about the pencil/ink job of Atlas when he's getting punched by Buck? That is a hot fucking mess, and I could do better than that. And I don't say that lightly.
No, I know.
The face, it looks like sketched, like he wasn't quite sure what he wanted to do. And Vince is like, I don't have time. Like, you know what I mean? Like Perlin just kind of was like suggesting an eye and like, I'll come back here and figure this all out later. And Vinny's like, nah, I got it. It's good.
Yeah, I think that shit. I feel like this issue is starting to be the end of the partnership between Don Perlin and Vince Colletta, because we only have one more issue with Colletta inking. And then the issue after that, when it says Don Perlin, it says Don Perlin pencils and inks. And the "and" is super bold and like in a bigger type.
AKA fuck you, Vinny.
It was really a fuck you, Vinny, which I know we'll get to. We get to that issue, but it made me laugh. So yeah, I think their relationship's done.
So that thing you read at the bottom there was started with him saying maybe the werewolf descended from his perch because he believed that his foe to be distracted and therefore vulnerable. And then
that's right.
Up, or maybe some part of Jack Russell's on there and sees. What do you think? Did you like this touch of him saying that maybe he does recognize Buck?
Yeah, I did, because yeah, in the last couple issues, I think it's almost I don't think Munch has gotten that yet. Like, how much does a werewolf remember? How much because it kind of has changed every issue a little bit. So I liked that it's kind of a little more nebulous.
Yeah, I also think that the werewolf jumping on Atlas's back in the last panel is pretty bad. His face.
Oh, I know.
Okay, like I would expect to see that on a Peachy in Study Hall. Like, yeah. That's not Marvel Comics to me.
No.
So you think that he would have the advantage because he has the element of surprise. He jumped on his back. He has razor sharp claws, but somehow no, this is immediately squandered. And he throws the werewolf into one of those stone lion statues, and he hits him really hard in the head. It says "walk." Is that a joke? No,
I should hope not. but you know what? Maybe.
And so that ringing his bell sends the Beast into a frenzy. So he scrambles up to his feet. He's got the little sparkly star things above his head. And a spitting demon of snarls and rage, a demon who no longer knew fear. So you're thinking, oh, he's mad. Now he's going to be super effective.
Yep.
But as I leaped forward to vent my rage, thrack! I felt my head brutally cracked again. This guy is like Don Mattingly. He's just fucking straight up hits him in the head, sends him flying back. He hits another stone statue in the head. So he cracks his head. He's been hit in the head 3 times this time. And he's out. He's out cold, passed out on a statue.
Yeah.
At this point, he's not Jack Russell. He's fucking Jack Burton from Big Trouble in Little China. Like half of the action scenes, he's passed out or stuck in something, or trapped under a dead body, or what. I mean, it's a joke in Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah,
Here it's just sad.
The concrete ceiling fell on his head. Yeah, I know. No, that's a perfect description. Yeah. So in the next page, Atlas says, "You're down, Jimmy. You never were a very good stuntman, and now Atlas shall vanquish thee." And we see Buck kind of comes to and says, "God help me, but I can't let him kill Jack." And then, I know. Then Buck shoots Atlas in the back with one of those silver bullets. And so, I liked the names down here. I really liked these. So we see 3 names and handprints in the concrete below. It's Bela Lugosi, and the one that's really visible is Henry Hull, who was the star of Werewolf of London from 1935.
Who's between the two, though?
I could not figure that out. So it looks like a G is the last letter in the first name, and then it's Miller. I know old Hollywood pretty well. And I could not figure out who that was supposed to be.
Okay. I didn't know either. But yeah, I liked Henry Hull was a great pull.
Oh, I thought this was interesting. When I was looking at Henry Hull's IMDb, I saw that he was also in a movie called The Sheriff of Fractured Jaw from 1958, which I was kind of like,
Western?
It's kind of a weird little synchronicity, but it's cool.
It was a Western?
I think so, yeah.
Was he British?
I don't think he was, actually. I know that, the Werewolf of London was a co-British production, but I don't think so. I could be wrong. But I was like, it's much putting 2 deep movie references here, but I thought it was pretty cool. And then that bottom narration panel says, I wanted Buck to use that silver bullet to kill the werewolf. Instead, he used it to save the werewolf's life in typical Buck Cowan style. Ugh. Raise a glass to that shit.
To Steve Rand.
To Steve Rand, indeed.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
He was an asshole, and then he was crazy.
Yeah.
But I did like the touch as the beast is out and Atlas is towering over him. It's a very good depiction of him. But he has the jawbone of the ass back completely over his head, and it's just dripping black with blood. I mean, he's been beating the shit out of the werewolf this whole time.
He really has. So we get the sad scene next page.
Yeah. Much like, what was that dude's name back in Marvel Spotlight number 4 or something? Remember that dude, the bald guy, and he's like referred to himself in the third person, and Blackgar, the daughter, shot him, and he's like, "Why you shoot?" It wasn't Craig. That was somebody else.
It wasn't Craig?
No, Craig was the guy with the metal claws from the issue, the story prior.
Shit. See, it's so sad. We've forgotten him already.
Yeah. But anyway, it's one of those similar scenes where he's gut shot, wherever he's dead, he's dying, and he spins around. He's like, you shot me, Cowan. And he's still standing tall, but he's shaking. He's like, guess I deserved it. And then he starts to kind of crumple over. But I didn't mean to kill all those people. I was just mad because I'm so ugly. And because once I had such a handsome, and then he falls, face plants down, and it says Spuff. Spuff. It says, I guess the square of wet cement was reserved for some new hotshot celebrity, but the werewolf couldn't care less about irony. All he wanted was escape and time to soothe his throbbing head. And so Lieutenant Northrop arrives. He's like, good work, Cowan. Like, Northrop, you took so long. He's like, we left as soon as you got your call. So anyway, the irony here is that a lot of times people put their hands down and their name in the cement when they're stars. This guy's a big star, and he just face planted in wet cement. Yeah. So, it's funny and pathetic and sad. Yeah,
it's pathetic. And have you ever heard Raymond Burr referred to as Ray Burr?
No. I'm assuming that's who that's supposed to be, yeah.
I think so, but again, I'm going to blame that on Vinny.
Well, who the hell is Ron Lasner?
I should have looked that up. I'm not sure. I know Wallace Beery. We can barely see Wallace Beery there, and you know him. Obviously, Charlie Chaplin, Shirley Temple. But I should have looked that up.
I just Googled Ron Lasner, and the IMDb page was not anywhere in the first immediate handful of results. So I stopped.
Interesting. I wonder if it's a friend of Perlin.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. So on our final page, Vic tries to comfort Buck by saying, look, Cowan, I know how you must feel, but you did the only thing you could. I don't know whose life you saved just now, but I do know that Rand was a homicidal maniac responsible for 7 murders. And considering that you would have been the 8th, believe me, no one's going to so much as press gun permit charges against you. And, you know, Buck's a good guy. So he's like, that doesn't help much, Northrop. I knew Steve Rand. Talked to him during the filming of that movie I wrote. He was arrogant and conceited, but somehow I couldn't help pitying him. So yeah, he goes on to, you know, say he told me once he disdained awards, that winning an Oscar would mean nothing to him as an actor. He said it was popular acclaim that counted, that he wished to be remembered by the public, and that all he ever wanted out of life was his name in a square of cement in front of Grauman's. And then we see, yeah, like the imprint of his face, which also looks really goofy. Like Vinny could have done a little bit of a better job on that.
Can I comment on that?
Yes, please.
I think it's also funny in a very kind of mean-spirited way that Vinny or Perwin made his square next to Red Skelton and Howdy Doody to show this guy's a fucking clown and a joke.
Ugh, you're right. That's dark.
And the way I would describe what the facial impression of Atlas in the wet cement looks like, because this is all cast in like sunrise hues, so it's pink. It looks like if you're a fan of Bob's Burgers, when they go into the candy factory or whatever, and there's the taffy men.
Looks like Taff. Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't it?
It does. I was trying to figure out what that looked like, and you totally nailed it.
Thank you.
God, that's one of my favorite.
That is one of the best ones ever.
That's one of the best Bob's Burgers of all time. So yeah, we also end on a pretty sad Beast panel. We see the Beast sitting in a dark alley. And the narration reads, the werewolf huddled in the greasy squalor of filth and garbage, licking his wounds and dreading the dawn. As usual, he didn't know what had happened. Dawn wouldn't be quite so kind to Jack Russell. And then, yeah, our bottom, we have a little next issue teaser. It says, Lissa's 18th birthday approaches. Can Jack prevent her from becoming a werewolf like himself? Or will he kill the one man who could save her? And the title of the next issue is The Dark Side of Evil.
So
it was a satisfying conclusion, I think. I mean, you know, I think it was a satisfying conclusion to the tale of Atlas. Like in typical Werewolf by Night fashion, the newly introduced villain dies, never to return again. And I think Munch is hitting a bit of a stride writing wise. I think his dialogue and his narration is getting better. I think he gets the characters. He's still injecting like random beat poetry into the narration, but I'm digging it.
Yeah. Art-wise, I was a little underwhelmed.
Yeah, this is not a good art issue by any means.
This is one of the ones where I had a hard time pulling out like favorite panels or favorite moments.
Oh, I know. It's gonna be rough to figure out what to post on Instagram this week.
Yeah, I agree. Let's do a little wear mail and then move on.
Sounds good.
Tight little episode this week.
That's right.
Dear Marvel, I think I deserve recognition as a permanent Marvelite Maximus because I did the impossible in the cause of Marvel. One day this week, I brought a Werewolf by Night comic to my study hall class, and the girl behind me asked if she could read it. After she was done, the guy behind her asked for it, and so on, until finally the teacher called me to her desk. She said I was presenting disturbing material to the class and took the book away from me. Then, when I sat down, she opened it and started to read it herself. At the end of the class, I asked her for my book back. She said that she never knew comic books could be so entertaining. Then I asked her if I could bring more to read, and she said it would be all right, only if she gets to read one. I figured if I bring 5 comics a day, 5 times a week, I'll last 46 weeks with my present collection of books. And when I'm through with that many, I'll have more to supply. Wouldn't you say I deserve some credit? Joe Morgan, San Jose, California.
So if that's true, that's my favorite letter of all time.
Yeah, I know. So the response is, no doubt about it, Joe. Consider yourself commended for action above and beyond. I misspelled beyond? Beyond? That's a new one. Above and beyond the call of duty, for facing front fearlessly and opposing the educational establishment, for instilling in yet another institution an avid appreciation of the art that is comics and is Marvel. 4,000 huzzahs, 32 tamam shuds. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm sure it's some Jewish thing. I don't know. Tamam shuds? Is that like Hebrew?
Not sure.
Well, 11 Excelsiors, I know that one, and 900 Nuff Seds upon thee. And not only that, you get a no prize too. And we'll go one step further. Send us your study hall teacher's name and address, and we'll see that she gets one also. Till next dish, people, stay well, stay happy, and stay indoors on the night of the full moon. You never know what's lurking behind that bush. It's probably Roy's poodle, but these days, you can't be too careful.
That's kind of funny, actually. This is one of my more favorite Wear Mail by Nights. I love it. I love everything about that.
So there were two other letters. Both of them seem to say, glad that we moved off of the committee and Ma Mayhem and Baron Thunder. Both of them said not super digging this magic ring thing. So hoping that's not sticking around. And then like one of the letters says particularly like, I hope that he's not like becoming a superhero with this ring, because then he would have his intellect and he would be fighting crime. And the response assured him that would not be the case. The rings probably aren't gone forever, but even if they aren't gone, he's not going to become a superhero like P.I. Werewolf. Something, you know.
No, that does not happen, so they didn't have to worry. No, it was a good mailbag.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I felt good about that last thing, you know, like in light of my mini rant about comics snobs or whatever, you know, graphic novels and all that shit. Like, there you go. See, there's somebody who's bringing the comics gospel to people.
Yep.
I like it.
just imagining, just like passing them behind desk to desk, and it's like it wasn't during history class; it was during study hall. Like that's when it's kind of okay to read comics.
Yeah, that's the one class it's okay to be super stoned in.
Yes, exactly. No, I loved that. Well, yeah, you and I, we had talked about it before, going back and watching some of the actual episodes of the 1987 series Werewolf on Fox. And we watched the pilot, and then you and I watched the first episode, which wasn't great. It seemed like it was made out of
lips and assholes from the pilot.
It really was. That was a lips and assholes episode. It just I mean, it was Scorzani on a boat, and basically the only thing you need to know from that episode was that Alamo Joe shot Eric at the end of it. And that's where we kind of come in. And you and I decided that we would talk a little bit about the second proper episode of Werewolf, which is called The Boy Who Cried Werewolf.
I had a blast watching this while I sucked down chili dogs with my wife before we talked tonight.
Way to go, John Cougar. Yeah, I loved it.
This is everything I want, like things I would normally criticize, but everything I want from a werewolf serialized story.
Yeah.
First of all, there are some overt Werewolf by Night references inside of this episode, which I thought was fucking rad. Mm-hmm. So it stars the boy who cried werewolf is played by Danny Cooksey. And I'm sure you folks remember Danny Cooksey if you're older. I believe he was adopted in the later seasons of Different Strokes. So like when the kids in Different Strokes got old and they weren't cute anymore, they're like, well, let's adopt somebody. You know, that old sitcom bullshit.
Yeah, he's in a lot of episodes of Different Strokes. It was funny. I had to go back. I'm like, I kind of started getting him mixed up with Dudley, who, you know, got molested in the bike shop.
Oh, right.
So I was like, no, he's not Dudley. He's the kid that was adopted. Yeah.
And I think people in the wave after us probably saw him on, I think he was on Salute Your Shorts on Nickelodeon, which was a really popular kids like sitcom, which I never saw, but I think that he was the main character on that. But he's been around in a bazillion things. I mean, you see him and you're like, oh, that guy. He's one of those guys.
Well, he also did tons of voice work. Like the last 25 years, he's almost been exclusively a voice actor, and he's done a lot of shit.
What's his biggest voice work stuff?
Well, I mean, nothing like you and I would really watch. Just like, you know, a lot of Nickelodeon
you don't know me.
Stuff. No, I know you pretty well, actually. And I didn't recognize anything that I had really seen.
You can't throw a name out. Is this to spite me?
A little bit.
Okay.
And also because I didn't write any down in my notes.
Okay. Well, he's someone that I generally regard as being an obnoxious little kid in most things that I've seen him in. Not trying to be. He's trying to be a cute kid, like in Different Strokes and stuff. But he always rubbed me the wrong way. So, but I kind of liked him in this one because he's a kid and he's very big. His stuff is very big. His delivery and his whatever. So yeah, I mean the premise is that I love all the shorthand in this, by the way, where it's just like, we don't have time to spin up a bunch of fucking characters. So
No.
When you say single mom, what do you think of? Like, I don't know, she's a waitress in a greasy spoon diner. Yep.
She has the outfit on.
Yeah. And what about the dad? The dad, there's no dad. She's a single mom. That's right. The dad's dead. He's dead.
Yep.
And is there anyone else in the scene? I don't know. Drunk asshole. Yes.
Abusive
there has to
boyfriend.
be a drunk asshole who beats the shit out of her whenever he gets too drunk. So this kid is obsessed with monsters, much like I am, and Jacob probably is as well. And he has remember those toys that he had a plush thing called My Pet Monster, and they had like little manacles on their wrists, and those were fucking everywhere back then. But he had one of those. He put it in the basket of his bike when he's riding to go get medicine. And Renee's like, yeah, this guy's going to get the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
But so he loves monsters. He's obsessed. He's like the kid in Salem's Lot. He's like, Monster Squad kid. Like, I mean, that all these, it's a cliche by the 80s that kids are monster kids again, and they're obsessed with monster stuff. They have the art, they make the masks, they do the makeup, they collect the toys and the models, and so he's one of those kids.
But I was all in. Like, his performance wasn't, I mean, I know it's cheesy, but I was like, oh, I love this kid. I'm totally on his side immediately.
Well, yeah. you could put a brick of Velveeta up next to Alamo Joe, and it's going to look like fucking monk ash aged goddamn 3.
Alamo Joe.
Dude, I mean, like, I was tripping. We're a little obsessed with Alamo Joe right now. Like, first of all, he wears his sunglasses 24 hours a day. 1987, I get it, but like, I was tripping out. Like, these are so short, right? And they're so like concise. I was like, Renee, what if I did this? What if imagine a weekly, like a small troupe of people, and they put on a community theater, small theater, Werewolf, the entire run, and you have one season in this theater where you're just doing episode 3 this week. Because you could do the whole thing on a stage, like, and I was like blocking it for her. Like, see, that's when Alamo Joe like walks into frame, and he's like right in the foreground, like looking off in the distance, talking to a guy that's behind him. Like, he's so intense. I was just trying to picture how he blocked that on stage. Like, then he walks off, and then the boyfriend's at the front of the stage looking at the audience as Joe walks through the audience, and then you have the sound of the truck door slamming in the background.
Wow, you really figured this out.
I did.
That was one of my favorite parts, was when Alamo Joe goes to the house and he's like, I think you may have, I'm looking for this guy, and the abusive boyfriend is kind of an asshole, but then says like, we don't know what you're talking about. And so Alamo Joe leaves, and then the drunk boyfriend's like, chasing after people for money. That's a pretty good gig. I was like, even as Alamo Joe is leaving, the boyfriend's like, that guy's pretty fucking cool. I'm like, even the boyfriend loves Alamo Joe. We all love Alamo Joe.
Yes. What's Poochie doing? Where's Poochie?
Yeah, where's Poochie?
Okay, so this kid has, so I thought of you because he had a Q, the winged serpent poster up in his room. Did you see that?
I did. So cool.
So in the old days, there's like Famous Monsters of Filmland and a lot of those kind of magazines like that are creepy and eerie or, whatever, and or Skywald. But this kid, the mom comes home and says, I brought you popsicles and I got you monster magazines. But she actually brought him comic books. And the comic that she's holding is a Moon Knight from the first run of Moon Knight that had a lot of Sienkiewicz, and I forgot who else worked on it. It had ton of, like, Kaluta, great art all along the way there. But at one point, I couldn't figure out what the issue was that she held up when she came home from work and sent him to bed with all the goodies. But later on, she holds up a Moon Knight, and it's number 29. That was a Bill Sienkiewicz cover, and it has it's Werewolf. Jack Russell's in that issue.
Yeah,
and it has a big wolf. Like, it's all black, and there's like a giant wolf head with gaping jaws, and then, like, I think Moon Knight's, there's blood running out of its mouth, and there's one of Moon Knight's crescent blades like in the foreground, like in a pool of blood. Yeah,
I would honestly say it's the greatest Marvel cover featuring Jack Russell. Like it's so fucking rad, and it's
pretty iconic.
Oh, to see that was so like whoever's behind that, I was like, okay, they know their shit. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I feel like this series, I wouldn't want to alter it. We just talked about fucking with art, but like Renee was just tripping out. She's like, why is this like Iron Eagle 2 anthemic guitar soaring in the background of all these scenes where it has nothing to do with anything? Like, talking about how this boyfriend beats the shit out of this woman, and it's like,
yeah. See, I don't think that altering the mix is the same as like, definitely changing like story points, because I noticed that too. And that I think that's basically going to be a thing in every episode of Werewolf is that the music is so high up in the mix that I think I said this before, that you almost imagine the actors like yelling their lines to be above this crappy music.
Yeah. So at any rate, what happened is Danny goes out, and because he hears a werewolf howling, and Erica was shot by Alamo Joe, and he somehow leads the werewolf. He's still in wolf form back into his treehouse. And so Eric wakes up in the kid's treehouse. The kid brings him his breakfast his mom made him, and he shows him the wound. And he's like, "Oh, I bet that was a silver bullet." 'Cause, this kid knows everything. And so he decides to go to the vet and says that like his pet is injured or something like that. So he gets some antibiotics and whatever. They cauterize the wound with a hunting knife with a lighter and dig that silver bullet out. And it's weird. It's a weird episode. It was really good.
It's so badass, though. It's every little boy's dream. Like, you're a monster fan, and you find a fucking werewolf in your treehouse. And then he's like, "Kid, you got to help me. You got to dig this bullet out. It's all up to you."
Yeah.
It's a dream come true.
I've been training for this for 11 years. Yeah. And I love, you have to, even, as a grown man, when you see the boyfriend, threatening the wife or his girlfriend and relentlessly teasing his girlfriend's son. And then you realize, oh, there's a, we refer to werewolves as hand grenades on the show sometimes. Like, there's a hand grenade out in my shop, my tree fort. So I can just point this dude at him if he hits my mom again, and he'll take care of it. And that is what, so you're just jubilant. We're like, "Oh my God, abusive boyfriend's going to get fucking gutted by a werewolf."
No, it was the coolest thing. It was just, it was so satisfying. I loved it. Yeah, I really loved this episode.
Yeah, it was super fun. I liked it a lot. I wish it was available for folks that didn't want to buy a European box set.
I know.
It really bums me out.
It's probably why we're not going to talk about it a whole lot more.
No.
Just because it's not available. But yeah, if you can get it, or if you want to shoot us an email, we might be able to help you. So
we can help you if you shoot us an email at werewolfbynightpodcast@gmail.com. Definitely. We're always there for you.
So yeah, have you been reading anything good?
I started reading Planet of the Apes Archive Volume 1, Terror on the Planet of the Apes, which is from that magazine. So it's got that Plug black and white art.
Oh, God.
I think Doug Munch wrote most of it.
All of it, I think.
Yeah, I think like one issue at the end or something like that.
Yeah.
But yes, so far it's very cool. I'm not a huge apes guy, so I don't know like the chronology. Like, I can't tell if this comes after the film series or what. There's humans, and they live in a separate section from the apes, and they're generally friendly but don't mix very much. Mm-hmm. There's a forbidden zone. I can't tell where it's placed in the chronology, I guess.
I can't either. I mean, obviously I've seen all of them, but I only seem to remember like the first one, and then the one where the humans worship the bomb as a god. Like, those are the two that I remember. And the rest
I remember like in the second one, like they use like a couple shots of Heston and then an obvious body double for like almost every other. Like, he's in it quite a bit, or like in the beginning, and they just shot their way around him. Yeah. And then he was out of the series, obviously.
Oh, that's cool. I'm anxious to read that as well. We've been talking about it for a while, just because it's peak Plug.
So yeah, I read. I don't know what this appeared in. Is it a backup? Because it's like the stories are like in 18-page chunks.
I thought so, even though when I was looking back, it seems like it's in its own like magazine. But I don't know if maybe it was the Planet of the Apes magazine, and that was the first story, and then there was maybe some backup features that weren't apes or text, or I don't know, but.
So I'm 20 pages in, and the art's gorgeous, and I'm already interested in the story. So I'd check it out as soon as you can. It's like 360 pages.
Yeah, it's big.
It's a big volume.
Oh, that's awesome. No, I can't wait to read that. So for me, I came out a couple weeks ago, but I finally ended up reading it this last week. I read the last volume of Matt Fraction and Elsa Chartier's November.
I read the first one after you talked about it on the show.
Yeah, man.
I loved it.
Oh my God. So, okay. I loved it so much. Like, for someone who hasn't read it, Elsa Chartier's art is It's definitely inspired by Will Eisner and Darwin Cook, I would say, are like the two big influences. But it's totally like a different take too. You know, I think it's its own take on a real classic type of style. It's gorgeous. And the storytelling is really dense. And it was so cool to finally read all 4 volumes to see how everything ties together and all the different kind of timelines of this one day kind of tie together. Like right after I finished it, I had to go back and reread the entire series just because I'm like, oh man, I know there's lots of stuff. Like it's a story of 3 women told in this kind of nonlinear fashion. And it'll take you a few read-throughs to kind of thoroughly understand the timeline. Like Fraction makes you work for it.
Yeah.
Which it was funny. It kind of made me think of this. I was thinking of something I heard Kelly Sue say in an interview that they were at a signing and this guy came up to Fraction and handed him a comic and was just like, I don't understand this comic you wrote. And Fraction replied, well, maybe you need to read it again. And I remember at first I was kind of like, oh, it's kind of a dick thing to say to a fan. But then I was like, I thought about it more. And I was like, no, that's kind of Fraction's deal. Like post Hawkeye Fraction comics are not easy reads.
Yeah.
They're not something you can just blow through and not really pay attention. You know, it's like from Satellite Sam to Odyssey, like even Jimmy Olsen or Adventure Man, which is Fraction being like super fun. There's still a lot packed into it. Like, I mean, Jimmy Olsen's amazing and you really need to read that.
I do. I know it's on my queue.
It's so good. And but Adventure Man is also amazing. It's Terry and Rachel Dotson. Like the art is incredible. But I mean, first issue of Adventure Man, you're introduced to like 35 characters. Like I don't think that's an underestimation either.
Wow.
And it's just, there's so much packed into his stuff. You absolutely have to read his works more than once to get everything he's trying to say. And I'm not complaining about it. Like I love it. Like I think he's an actual genius.
Like think about how many of your favorite, like your Desert Island records, how many of them did you like the first time you heard them? Like for me, the mark of something that I really, really bond with is something that at first I'm not that into. And then I spin it a few times and then it becomes one of my favorite records ever.
No, I fully agree. I think
a lot of albums I burn out on after like, it's in my player for like a week or two. And then I listen to it 50 times. And I'm like, okay, that's Weezer. I get it.
Yeah, I think it's funny. The one album that comes to mind when you say that is, and I loved it the first time I heard it, but I don't think I got it, was the Zombies, Odyssey and Oracle.
Oh, that's a good call.
Yeah, because at first I'm just like, oh, this is great. Yeah, I recognize Time of the Season. Like, this is really kind of Baroque pop and cool. But the more I read it, the more I realized how dense it was and how much art is packed into this fucking record. And that really describes the majority of Fraction's works. Like, the majority of his body of work functions so well as a piece of art. Like, he's definitely one of the greatest modern comic writers. Let's just say second greatest after Kelly Sue.
I'll say that.
Yeah, it's God, he's just so good. And yeah, finishing November, but it's one of those things. And I know we do mention this a lot, but after I read it, I was just like, really proud that guy lives in our city.
Yeah,
it's just like that him and Kelly Sue are here just makes me sleep a little better at night. I'm just like, no, this is important. And this is cool that this is happening, in spitting distance of where we live. Like, I'm just I feel good about that. I feel special.
No, that's amazing. I'm hoping they've already announced who published that?
November?
Yeah.
Image. Well, I mean, I think it's just going to be 4 volumes.
They're not going to collect it in an omnibus or anything?
I mean, maybe they will, but I like how it kind of works as I think Fraction called it a graphic novella.
Yeah,
I listened to the last time he was on Marvel by the Month, which was genuinely great. He was slightly unhinged, which makes him a lot funnier. I mean, he's always very, very funny, but you got to check out some of those Marvel by the Month episodes where Fraction goes through. Goddamn, that guy's funny.
Yeah, send me a couple episode names and I'll sample it. I haven't taken the plunge yet. Well, cool. I'm excited for that. Some of the way you described that reminds me of Matt Kent's Super Spy. Did you ever read that?
I didn't. I will
include that in the next thing. I think that was one of his early major works. And it is this World War II narrative, and it definitely interweaves, and you realize as you're reading on, like, oh, this was that person's journey, and here they're intersecting, and all the timelines get very convoluted, and there's like codes like in the corners of the pages, so if you want to, you can read it chronologically. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
He's just interesting stuff. He's very, I love Kent. He's interesting. It reminds me of that, but I will definitely be picking that up. I dug the first one that I read through the library, so I'll just buy the 4 volumes. I'm just, me. If I can put it all in one slab, even if it's the size of a cinder block, I will.
Maybe they will. Maybe they'll put it in a big omnibus with some stuff. But I like the 4 hardcover volumes. Like I think that's the future of comics. I hope it is. But no, it just I loved it, and I'm really anxious for you to read the whole thing so we can do a deep dive on it.
Definitely.
Well, thanks for listening to us this week. We're going to have a guest next week. We're going to have guests more. We actually have some guests scheduled maybe every other episode now. So I'm excited for that. Matt, who do we have coming on next week?
Next week, we have my friend Matt Mayer Lowry, and he's a very talented writer. He has some books through Dark Horse Comics. There's an all-ages sci-fi book called Life Formed that he did with Cassie Anderson. Incredibly charming. It's for people of all ages. I loved it. I've read both volumes. I think you'll love it too for your kids or for yourself. It's super good and super charming art. But Matt is here to share with us a Kickstarter campaign that's launching next week, and it's for a comic project called Thoughtscape Comics. And he has some great artists working on there, and he's a great writer. So I think you'll want to hear him come on and talk a bit about his comics and what he digs and his project that's coming up. And then we're going to read issue number 24 together. So it'll be fun.
That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, if you want to check him out, he's at Matt, MattMLPDX. Matt MLPDX. That's his handle on all social media. And he posts stuff about his art there and his projects that are ongoing and samples of the artists, how they're rendering his stories into visuals. And he's a super smart, fun guy. I think you're going to dig this conversation. Till we meet again neath the full moon, furry ones, here's howling at ya.